Okay, this video blog is really going to be a rant, so I apologise. But if you've watched my previous video, Lucy's Diary on Depression Part 2, then you'll know that at work they've been doing these new searches where you have to take off your shoes and your jacket and everything else, and that it sort of reverted me back to my 13-year-old self and my problems with having been sexually bullied at school. To lead on from that, I got asked to be searched again. This time it shows a lack of communication because the person who asked me, one security team, was unaware of the issues surrounding it. So my store manager hadn't actually told him that I'm not to be searched by any one of them. So that was annoying because then I felt awkward and bad having to say, you can't search me. And obviously he was a bit offended because he's like, well, why not? And, you have a right to not be searched. But, the way he said it was sort of like, well, what's your problem? Sort of thing. So I referred him to the store manager and she explained that I'm not to be searched by them and that she'll sort it out. So he was okay after that, though, he was a bit like, I don't know why, sort of thing, which is none of his business, to be honest. But anyway, so she came to search me and we went in the back and there was 3 of us that did it, and she handled it, I suppose, as best as she could, but she managed to put in a little veiled threat in there and said basically that regardless of anything that's happened to me, and bearing in mind that there are going to be a lot of people who have had a lot worse sexual assault than I have, people who have been raped, and they have to go through this process too, and if they don't, as she said, then and they refuse, and therefore they have to put a case against you, basically saying that you've not been searched and you're probably stealing. So no matter what traumatic experience you might have been through previously, you're going to have to prove that you have been sexually assaulted or raped or whatever it is in front of everyone, even though they don't suspect you of stealing. That I'm quite happy for them to search my lockers, to search my bag. It's just the physical side of it I don't really like, and they have no reason to suspect me. They can watch me CCTV all the way around the store and see that I've never touched anything that is not mine and I've never stolen anything in my life. But hey, what's that got to do with it? Why not? I've been a victim before, so why not make me a victim now and make me feel even worse? I was so angry. I luckily managed not to say anything and let it pass, which proves that my tablets are starting to work. Yay! But I'm livid. So I've come home and I've decided to have a look at the contract, which is like a booklet they give to all retail places, which is your contract. And I've had a look, and I'm not going to tell you where I work, so I'm not going to hold it up. But basically it says, for the right of search, it basically says it is a condition of employment that all associates, however senior, agree to random searches of their personal possessions and lockers. You must always be prepared to have your personal belongings checked by a member of management or loss prevention prior to leaving the location you are at, even if you are only visiting. If you do not give permission to have your personal belongings or locker searched, you should be aware that this may lead to disciplinary action being taken. Well, that is basically, doesn't say anything about physical searches. That says about your lockers and your pocket, your coat and stuff, your bag, that stuff. I've got no problem with that. You can have a look at the coat hanging on the rack and you can put your hands in your pockets if you really want to. It's the physical bit, the fact that you have to take off your coat, your shoes, while there's somebody staring at you the whole time like you're a bit of meat. That's the thing I don't like, because it reminds me of when I was younger, and I feel that it's awkward. I mean, other people probably don't have a problem with it, and that is fine for them, and that's brilliant that they've got through life without being sexually assaulted, and that's brilliant. But what about all the other people who have been? So we have to then, if we feel the urge, either have to feel like we're being humiliated and feel awkward, standing there getting checked over by a man that we do not trust, because let's face it, it has been proven several times in my life that they are not to be trusted. You can't tell when somebody is a pervert and who isn't, and that is the problem, isn't it? If they had a big sign over it, it would be fine, but they don't. So you have to stand there with people that you think are fine, but you're not entirely sure, and they say, oh, you've got CCTV footage. That's brilliant. You can prove that they've sexually assaulted me, but they've already sexually assaulted me, so I've still got to live with the actual after effects, but it's okay because it was on CCTV footage, so they can be prosecuted. Never mind about all the memories that I will have afterwards. As you can see, I really am quite mad about it. And don't get me wrong, I know for a fact that the majority of men do not sexually assault women. I know that. I'm married to one such man. I have a father who's another such man, and I have many male friends, and I do not want people to think that I think that every man I see is going to sexually assault me, because I don't. But that's the thing that gets to me, I think, is the fact that you don't know who is and who isn't. You know, the person who did this to me when I was at school looks like any other person that you'll see walking down the street, and that is the problem. And you don't know, and I don't like feeling that vulnerability when you're stuck in a room with a man and a woman sort of looking you up and down, checking you got your shoes and that you're not lying, that you haven't got anything hidden and concealed in your bra or whatever it is they're looking at. And because in the end having a woman there makes no difference to me, because when I was at school there was plenty of girls and adult teachers watching, and they didn't do or say anything, so it doesn't make me feel any better having a woman there at all. And I'm pretty sure I'm not the only person who's been sexually assaulted repeatedly that is in that position. And I dread to think how it must feel if you've been raped or had a much more serious sexual assault than I have. I really don't. And I just think this is disgraceful, and I have to admit I'm considering taking it further up with head office if this is the way that they're going to treat people who are victims, I hate using that word, of sexual assault, and that they don't have a policy that everyone's treated exactly the same, regardless of what crimes or whatever is being committed to you, and that you're not the one that's actually being the person who sexually assaulted anyone. You're the person that has been made to feel this way by other people, and yet you've still, years later, got to feel like crap for what's happened to you years ago, for the lack of understanding and compassion in an adult working place. It's just absolutely disgraceful. But anyway, I could stand here and rant about this for ages, but I just wanted to show you and tell you how annoyed I am, and that hopefully I'm not on my own. I don't think I am. But anyway, thank you for listening to my rant.